planning and all. I know already some have some members were already subscribed. Those members, please bear with me for a couple more days, like 2 to 3 days. Please bear with me, so that whatever the subject, meaning the Linux we started, I remember. So till to that level, we will cover in just we'll go to that level and then start in just 2 to 3 days. Just bear with me for maximum 3 days, please. Okay, so remaining all who are joined today for the demo 1 on the DevOps with AWS on Linux. Let us see, what is the role of DevOps in the market now, and mostly what you gonna do as a DevOps engineer. What are your roles and responsibilities, and what exactly the technical stack you have to learn. These are very important aspect before choosing this demo, meaning before choosing this course actually. So just I would like to glance you the course. Course is DevOps with AWS on Linux. And once after you completed this course, and if you will be placed, that means if you got the job, mostly you will work as a DevOps engineer job role. So no matter, of course, if you have the 3 to 4 years of experience, you will be placed as a DevOps engineer. Maybe if you are having the 5 plus 6 plus years of experience, then you might be a senior DevOps engineer. So that is the tag, the designation that the companies may gonna offer you. Here you may have 2 to 3 questions, I know, but we'll discuss about those questions. So duration is 90 to 120 days. And each day, 1 hour, 15 minutes, the session will be from Monday to Saturday, the sessions will be conducted, and Sunday is the holiday. And then fee is 12,000 INR, and a soft copy of the material will be provided to you. Everything, Linux soft copy of the material, and whatever the DevOps tools, whatever the AWS concepts we're gonna see, AWS services, for every the topic and every tool that you're gonna learn, you will receive
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
I am not able to hear your voice properly. It's like two people are speaking like that. It's coming.
Oh, is it for you only, or is it for others? Can anyone confirm? Is it for others as well?
No,
I am able to hear your voice, sir.
Yeah. Probably.
It's clear, sir. It's clear. Yeah.
Thank you. So probably with your mic, just check with your mic. Fine. So material, the soft copy of the material for each and every concept will be provided. And for the materials provided, I will create a Google Classroom like the, my bad, just a moment. I think you are able to see something, right? Just a moment. Okay. So I think, are you able to see my screen properly? Is it properly visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay. So soft copy of the material will be provided to you. And also every day session recording will be given to you. So that recording will be valid for the 6 months. That means your sessions are going for 90 days. Plus 90 days extra, the recordings access will be provided to you. And interview guidance will be given. Interview guidance here in the sense, interview questions will be given to you. So you guys have to, of course, every class, in every session, whatever the important for the interview, that I will share with you. Alongside that, I also will provide you the interview questions for each and every topic. And after completion of 2 to 3 tools or services, we will have a interview guidance discussion. Okay, but interview support is not provided. Guidance is different, support is different. So support, please don't expect from my side, because I don't want to do these activities. Once you properly learn my course, you will be able to do your job very easily with an experience equivalent to 5+ years. There is no question in that. Okay, if you daily practice, if you practice my notes and my sessions, my recordings, if you work along with me for this 90 to 120 days, you no need any support. You will be a real-time experienced resource of 3 to 5 years of experience. However, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, the experience. After attending these sessions, you will be get the knowledge equivalent to this 0 to 5 years of experience, guys. Meaning what, 0 to 5 years of experience you can showcase. That's up to you, meaning how you will get the confidence by learning the sessions. But the quality of the content that I was prepared is definitely will gives you the knowledge up to 5 years of experience to resources. And the prerequisites are nothing. So prerequisite is nothing is a really a line. That is not true. Prerequisite is required. What is required? Linux is required. So if you don't know Linux, don't worry. I will teach the Linux for first 3 weeks. I will teach the Linux for first 3 weeks. And after that 3 weeks, we will start our DevOps tools. So you may have now one question, sir, in that 3 weeks only we will be able to get the professional knowledge on Linux? No, not at all. You will get the basic knowledge on Linux, but while you are working with me for these 92 to 120 days on this DevOps with AWS, we will use the platform as the Linux, operating system as the Linux. So as you will use on your day-to-day life, you will be automatically get the professional experience by the end of this course. Because lot of Linux concepts we will do and then we will practice while setting up your DevOps CI/CD pipelines. So knowledge on Python is good to have. If you don't have also, no problem. This is just a add-on skill set is required to write some scripts actually. But if you have, good. Don't have, no problem. Nothing happened. Okay, this is just a add-on skill set is expected by the market. Fine. So this is about the this is about the DevOps course details. And coming to the roadmap, who can learn these DevOps skills? Meaning who can learn this DevOps course? So maybe you are doing some non-IT job, want to start your IT career, but not more than 3 years or 4 years of experience gap. If you have a 3 years of, for example, your education completed in 2014 and 2014 to 2017, or maybe 2022, you are doing some non-IT job, but in 2022 you want to come to your IT job, but you are passed out in 2014. There is a huge gap, right? Around 7 years of gap came. So that 7 years of gap is okay. Why? Because you can be manageable by showing your non-IT experience certificates also, which may not be considered as your IT experience. But more than that could be the problem. So what I mean to say is, non-IT engineers who want to now start the IT career can also learn this DevOps with AWS course. Why only you have to learn this DevOps with AWS course. There were some other course are also in the market. Why? Because this is the course which don't requires any programming knowledge. So you no need to be a programmer. You no need to have any programming knowledge. So that is the reason, without doing any program, without writing any coding, you can do your job happily with the configuration management through this DevOps and then the AWS uh, concepts, what you're going to work in your real time. And who are the developers? They want to know the end-to-end flow. Like developers usually write the code, but they want to see the end-to-end deployment. So if you are interested to know what will happen in the production, how it go to the production and all, if you want to know, you also can learn this DevOps. And for the developers, learning the DevOps will take you to the next level. Next level meaning not promotion. Next level meaning the hikes, maybe the opportunities at outside, maybe you will get a lot. So that is what the meaning of this next level. Meaning if the developers will have the DevOps knowledge, that will be added advantage to the company, not to you. So through you, the company get benefited because you will be placed at anywhere. And also when the developer know the DevOps skill set, then he will be act as a bridge between the developers and also the DevOps engineers to have the to fill the communication gaps maybe arise during the DevOps operations implementations. So it will be advantage to the company and also personally for the folks who are the developers also. So nowadays for the developers, Docker is a mandatory tool. And also if you want to know about the Kubernetes as well and end-to-end deployment flows, then you are in a right place to learn the uh, DevOps with AWS skill set.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. I
Mhm.
have just one question.
Mhm.
Actually, I have enrolled for this this course already. I'm few days back.
That's what actually in the beginning of the course I requested you guys, please bear with me for 2 days. Then we will be again back to our state where we were stopped our earlier lectures.
Okay. So now this
Yeah.
class is going to be from 7 o'clock only, right?
Correct, 7 o'clock.
Okay. Actually, I was not there in the beginning of the session. Anyway, thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Sir, there is one black window I'm seeing. I know it's just me or not.
Yeah,
Is it for
I can also see it.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can also
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
it's
It's
possible.
continuously loading.
waiting on the right? Hope you are not able to see that black screen, right? Yes. Now we are discussing about this concept. Who can learn the DevOps actually? So anyone can learn the DevOps who want to start their IT career, maybe the freshers, maybe the testers, maybe developers, and also even non-IT engineers as well. So anyone can learn the DevOps. I think you already know the importance and then boom that nowadays the DevOps have, isn't it? And prerequisite is nothing, just you need to have the Linux knowledge, and that however I will cover. Okay, if you can see nowadays the job opportunities and all, if you can see nowadays the job opportunities and all, there were a lot of jobs for the DevOps engineers. There were a lot of jobs for the DevOps engineers. So all the jobs who are looking for the DevOps engineers are demanding the skills So these are the skill sets that the companies are looking for, are demanding. The first is what? Linux. Why they are looking for Linux? Just let me open the DevOps content. Of course, the same content even you can see in the Durga Soft website. But I just would like to share you one thing in this content. So this is what the CI/CD pipeline that you gonna. This is the CI/CD pipeline that you gonna create and you gonna maintain for the various projects as a DevOps engineer. So what you need to do first, you need to set up this CI/CD pipeline in any one of the cloud environment like AWS cloud or maybe Azure cloud or maybe GCP or maybe DigitalOcean or maybe any of the cloud. So your job responsibility is what you have to set up the CI/CD pipeline. Maybe at this moment you don't know what is CI/CD pipeline, but don't worry, just listen my words, at least the technical words, one or two technical words you will be familiar with. So you have to build this CI/CD pipeline. So continuous integration and continuous delivery, two parts here. So continuous integration, continuous delivery. What is continuous integration? What is continuous delivery? Why we need to do all these things is I will let you know. Slowly, I will let you know. But first of all, being a DevOps engineer, what you should have to focus on. So being a DevOps engineer, you should have to focus on a specific skill set which will gives you the job at the current market trend, that is in 2022. Don't go and with the legacy technologies learning as part of the DevOps and don't waste your time, because the importance of the technical skills that you have to learn, right? If you choose them, then that will gives you the job opportunities to you. So what are such skills? Number one, Linux. Without this Linux, you can't do anything. Being a DevOps engineer, Linux is like your weapon, right? When you are going for any battle, like how much the weapon is important. Similarly, when you are onboarding as a DevOps engineer, the Linux is one of your weapon to battle with your day-to-day job. So you should have to be a proficient, experienced enough on the Linux. Sir, what we have to learn in Linux? That again I will discuss. But first let me write down the skills which are looking by the companies for any of the DevOps professional skill set. So Linux is the first one. Next, Git and GitHub. Not only Git and GitHub. I should not write Git and GitHub, but I should have to write source code management tools. Source code management tools like Git, GitHub, sir, what are these? We don't know. Don't worry. Just observe the names. Maybe going forward, you might know all these things, right? So Git, GitHub, Bitbucket, and etc. So that is what the source code management tools you have to learn. Sir, we don't know whatever you have written, SCM, Git, GitHub. Don't worry. Please listen, watch the names. That's it. Whatever I'm writing, just watch the names. Going forward, slowly you get to know what are all these things. Next, build management tools. Build management tools. Like for Java applications, it is Maven, Gradle, and PyBuilder for Python applications, and then etc. So this build management tools are expecting. Sir, what these build management tools will do? Okay, build management tools will do some purpose. They will do some job, that some purpose there. The purpose of each and every tool we will discuss maybe in the coming up sessions. But first you have to know what are the skill sets you have to focus on. Okay, build management tool. And then you have to know about the continuous integration and continuous deployment tools. So what are the tools that we have? The tools that we have are the Jenkins, Travis, Bamboo, etc. So these are all what the CI/CD tools, like continuous integration, continuous delivery tools. What is this continuous delivery, continuous integration? Right, this is again I will discuss, but you just observe the tools what you have to learn. Okay, then what you have to know about the Artifactory management tools. Artifactory management tools. So like JFrog and then Nexus. Mostly Nexus and JFrog are the two things which are widely using for the organizations in the organizations. So these are all good enough. Artifactory management tools. Maybe you might got now one question, sir, whatever you are writing, we don't know nothing, anything. Okay, that is the expectation. Why I am writing, just you don't know anything, but at least once I write, you will observe the names of it, and slowly when we start discussion about each and every tool, you get into it. So Artifactory management. So in the diagram now, in our production architecture or in our architecture, if we can see, this is the source code management. This is the CI/CD pipeline tool. This is the build management tool. And this is the Artifactory management tools. And also you have to know about here, the fifth tool is, here you have to know about the code quality and analysis tools. Code quality and analysis. This is important for testers and developers. So code quality and analysis tool. For example, SonarQube. For example, SonarQube. Not only SonarQube, there were other tools as well, but SonarQube will be the open source and support 13 plus languages. So that is the reason SonarQube will be mostly used. Code quality and analysis tool. It's an open source. So that means this is the source code management tool. This is the CI/CD pipeline tool. This is the build management tool. And here it is the code quality and analysis tool. And this is what the code Artifactory management tool. And then infrastructure configuration management tool. So next, what you have to do, you have to learn configuration management tools. Configuration management tools like Ansible. So here maybe a couple of questions you might got. I'll explain, don't worry, please. Just let me complete it. Then after that, this Ansible, what you need to do, you need to learn about the container management technology. Container management tools you have to learn. So Docker is the one which is most frequently using. So that is the reason, learn the Docker. And next, once after you learn the Docker, then the cluster management tools. Cluster management tools like Kubernetes. So these are all the tools are expecting by the interviewer. Apart from this, there is also log management tools are required for you, for the DevOps engineers. The log management tools are EFK, Elasticsearch, FluentD, and then Kibana. And then also you need to know about the performance monitoring tools. Performance monitoring tools you have to learn. For example, Grafana and Prometheus. There were others also, but these are all the frequently used. So these are the skill set. So these are the skill sets that you need to learn from the DevOps. Now what you need to do with all these skill set, you will set up this architecture, CI/CD pipeline. And also one more thing I forget, container registry. So you also have to know about the container registries. Container registries like Harbor, ACR, ECR, etc. So these may be pretty new for all of you. Maybe you might not know what are these tools I'm writing probably, but these are what the tools that you need to learn. Once after you learn all these tools, right? For example, there are the various environments for us, like dev environment, and then the dev environment for the developers, QA environment for the testers, and then UAT environment for the pre-production checkups, and then finally the production environment. So these are all the various environments we have in our real time, isn't it? Development environment meaning what? Complete setup. Complete setup meaning complete this architecture, whatever you are seeing, right? This complete architecture setup you need to do for all these environments, like dev environment, and then QA environment, UAT environment, and then prod environment. Assume for setting up all these tools, with all these tools for setting up this architecture might take, for dev environment, might have been taken 2 months of time. Just assume 2 months of time it was taken. And the same thing when you have to set up in the QA environment, it should have to complete in 1 day. And when you do the same thing for the UAT, it should have to complete in 1 day, and production may be 2 to 3 days. Right? You were shocked, right? Sir, how it will be possible? In dev environment, we have worked for 2 months of time and set up the same architecture, set up this architecture. But when the same architecture, again, when we set up in a QA environment, 1 day you said, how it will be possible? Highly impossible. No, this is possible. That is the reason you need to set up this entire things in environments using the tool called infrastructure. Infrastructure as code. The term we call it as IAC, infrastructure as code tools. For example, we have the Terraform, and also we have the Ansible. But Ansible, there is a difference between the Terraform and Ansible, which is very important interview question as well. I'll explain later on time. But what I'm telling you is that dev environment setup, where you might have installed the each and every component on a Linux machine. So this CI/CD pipeline tool you installed on one Linux machine. SonarQube you might install on another Linux machine. JFrog or Nexus you installed on another Linux machine. Likewise, these are all you installed on the various Linux machines. You installed all these are on the various Linux machines for setting up the dev environment. So one after the other you might have set up. Why? Because this is the dev environment. Maybe while setting up this one, you might face a lot of configuration issues, lot of errors, lot of exceptions, and you might have been noted down them and then provided the solution. You might have worked a lot and then finally set up 2 months of time, finally taken 2 months of time to set up this one. But can you guys please mute? Thanks. So maybe you were set up this in a 2 months of time. But what you need to do, while setting up everything, you need to write a infrastructure as a code script. Nothing but Terraform scripts you need to write. For each and every step, you need to write the Terraform step. For example, you are setting the build management tool. Maybe you are setting the SCM tools and Jenkins, code quality. So wherever you are setting up these configurations, that means whenever you are setting up these infrastructure, for entire infrastructure, you have to write the scripts actually. So those scripts we can write using the Terraform. So Terraform is a infrastructure automation tool. The entire infrastructure which you were set up in 2 months of time can be also set up in the other environments within just a 1 day time. So Terraform also you should have to learn actually. So Terraform itself is a very bigger concept. It's a 45 days course concept. But in our DevOps sessions, once after the AWS completed, then I will start this Terraform for 2 weeks session. So not complete Terraform, but the Terraform knowledge required for the DevOps engineer, whatever required knowledge. So till that knowledge, I will teach you this Terraform. Not all the Terraform concepts teaching is impossible in this, in our course actually. But whatever the Terraform is required for you to set up this infrastructure in the next environments, like in production or like in the dev environment, QA environment, whatever the stuff required in the Terraform, so that I will explain. So you will be able to write your own Terraform scripts. No language is required. Which programming language? No programming language. We are using the DSL, domain specific language scripts we are using. We are using the DSL. The DSL scripts is like a verbal text, like how I am writing some text information. Similarly, we have to write the scripts also in an understanding format of a particular way. For example, the script whatever you're going to write should have to understand to Jenkins. Maybe the script whatever you're going to write should have to understand to this Nexus. So likewise, no programming language we will use. We will use the domain specific language script, DSL script. It is a Groovy script. But no need to learn Groovy. So again, that's the reason I'm not revealing the programming language. Meaning we don't use any program language specific scripts. Rather, we will write the DSL scripts. These are simple YAML scripts actually. So you also have to learn the YAML, YAML. YAML also you have to learn. So let me write here YAML also. YAML is required for you because in Kubernetes, in Docker, in Ansible, and in Terraform, and in Jenkins and Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, EFK, Grafana, this ACR, in all these tools, we will use the YAML syntax only. In all these tools, we will use the YAML syntax only. That means, like how you learn the Linux to become a professional, so you also have to learn the YAML also to write the YAML files whenever required. In this, all the course are the technical stack list. So Kubernetes, we will write the YAML files. Docker, we will write the YAML files. EFK, we will write the YAML files. And Jenkins, we will write the YAML files. And also Terraform, we will write the YAML files. Ansible, we will write the YAML files. So YAML is very, very important. Okay, YAML is very, very important. So this is about the AWS skill set that you have to learn. Sorry, DevOps skill set that you have to learn. Now go to AWS skill set. So in AWS skill set, what you have to learn is depends on how you are, designing your production architectures. Basically, your leads or architects who are already designed these production architectures. So let me show you our production architecture. So this is our production architecture. So just let me open our production architecture. So this is what our production architecture. So based on this, our production architecture, to set it up in any of the cloud, whatever the services required, especially in AWS, whatever the services required to set up this in the production, those services we will learn. So for example, we already have learned here the Kubernetes, isn't it? So Kubernetes, we already have learned here. So what we will do in AWS, we will set up the AKS, sorry, we will set up the EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service managed by our AWS. And also container registry. You might have learned here the container registry, isn't it? So this container registry, we will also set up in our AWS. That is easier. Now what you will learn here, you will learn about the concept called the VPCs. VPC. In VPC, you will learn about the public subnet, private subnet. So AWS concepts of VPC, we will learn. In VPC, the concept called subnets. The concept called subnets we will discuss. And then if you can see here, NAT gateway we were used. So there is a private subnet and a private subnet to this public communication. So see this is the private subnet. So the services in the private subnet are accessing over our EKS cluster to the end users. To access, we are using the NAT gateway. So NAT gateway is what we will learn, NAT gateway configuration. What else? What else we will learn is databases. That means RDBMS database we will learn. So AWS RDBMS database we will learn, preferably MySQL, how to set it up, how to configure and all you will learn here. Then what we will learn? You will learn the notification services. So you will learn the mail service. Mail services you will learn, right? So simple notification service we will learn, and also we will learn simple email service, right? And also we will learn the simple queue service, SQS, messaging queues also you will learn, queue services also you will learn. Then what you will learn? Simple mail service, and then yes, then what we will learn is route 53. So route 53 is what we will learn. So route 53 with the SSL certificates. SSL certificates we will learn. And then also we will see the CloudFront. So also we will see the CloudFront. I'm just writing the concepts, and also we will learn here. We were completed everything, right? So route 53, and then the user management. The very important thing is what the IAM. So IAM we will learn. So very first service is what IAM actually we will learn. And see this everything covered, right? So VPCs we were covered, and VPC along with the public subnet, private subnet, and then the NAT gateway, and here the load balancers. So load balancers also we will discuss. So load balancers, application load balancer, network load balancer, load balancers concept we will discuss, right? So and then the databases we covered, Kubernetes cluster we have covered, notification service covered, and then simple mail service, route 53. So, and also I'll explain about the S3 bucket. Very, very important. There is one use case, because you know our configuration files like YAML files we're gonna write, right? Kubernetes files, Docker files, and Ansible files. All these files we will maintain in our S3 bucket, right? So S3 bucket. So these are all the services that we're gonna learn actually. EC2, very, very important actually. How we will forget? EC2 is what we will learn, and then CloudWatch for the logs purpose. So CloudWatch, just let me open the AWS course content, AWS final course content. I was already written in detail all these things. So you also can see this AWS course content in the DurgaSoft website. So the services, see this networking services, VPC, and then the IAM, EC2, EBS, Elastic Block Store. This is very important actually, because in Kubernetes, in Docker, we will use a concept called volumes. For that volumes, this will be helpful for us. So EBS, ELB, Elastic Load Balancing, and then the S3 storage services, Route 53 CloudFront and Route 53, and then the RDBMS, right? And then management and then governance services like Amazon CloudWatch, CloudFormation, auto scaling, containers, right? So Elastic Container Registry. This is what we will discuss. Elastic Kubernetes service also we will take, but container service we won't take actually. I will give you a glance, but we'll work with these two, ECR and then EKS. Then business applications, Amazon simple email service we will see, and then simple notification service and queue service, Terraform. So this is from the AWS course content pointer. So any questions from this course content point of view? Any questions? Fine. If no questions, then this is the, can you guys please mute? Yeah.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes.
How many days you will teach Linux subscription?
So that's what Linux is for the first 3 weeks. I will teach the first 3 weeks Linux to start the DevOps. So once after Linux completed for 3 weeks, it is not a complete Linux actually. So like shell scripting and then Linux file systems, permissions, and sudo users. There are a lot of concepts. Those we'll discuss in our first 3 weeks. Then we will start the DevOps.
In that 3 weeks only, Linux subscription also included, man.
Correct. So Linux course content also you can find in our DurgaSoft website. Complete course content is given. So that course content I will cover. I can also show the Linux course content here.
But scripting is mandatory for DevOps members.
Honestly speaking, nowhere we will write the shell scripts except 2 to 3 scenarios. Except in 2 to 3 scenarios, nowhere we will write the shell scripts, honestly speaking. So what are those 2 to 3 scenarios is what, one is the Jenkins agent configuration, where we will write the shell scripts. So that means we will we will set up this Jenkins in a master slave architecture. So at that moment, we will run the Jenkins slaves using one script, which will be invoked by this master. And also we will write the shell scripting for pulling the artifact from the artifactory. So like this, only 2 to 3 scenarios we will use shell scripting, and later on all the cases we will use our DSL scripting, domain specific language scripts.
So where you have to use the Groovy code?
The DSL is what I said is the Groovy script only. The DSL I said, right? Domain specific language scripts. So this DSL will be run behind the scene with the Groovy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Groovy is different from YAML.
Correct. Groovy is one language actually, like how the Java, Python. Similarly, Groovy is also one language, but we don't need to learn it separately. Not required.
YAML also one language.
YAML required. YAML not language actually. It is like our XML markup language, another XML markup language, not programming language. It's just a scripting language. Right.
Are we going to deploy any Python project as part of this pipeline?
Yes. So we're gonna see a total of 6 projects. So in those 6 projects, just as you have asked the question, let me also showcase one thing, because in our Docker we will do that. Just let me open this one. So Docker and then Kubernetes. In the Docker and then Kubernetes, we will deploy our applications, right? So these are all the applications. First is the static website, and second is the first is the static website, which is looks like this, exactly the same. And the second is the Node.js application, which looks like the same, a RESTful web service. And the third one is the React.js application, exactly looks like this, which is the React.js one. And then fourth one is the Java Spring Boot application, which is exactly the same. You are looking here, right? So same application will deploy. And the fifth one is the Spring Boot microservices. Microservices we will deploy. And sixth one, I have not written here, but sixth one is the Python project. So one Python project we will deploy using the CI/CD pipeline. Clear?
Sir, one more thing, like suppose we have to set up the Kubernetes cluster and all, that we'll be doing in EC2 instance in AWS or like in our local using some VM box or.
No,
Yeah.
everything I will set up on the AWS EC2 instances only. Everything I will set up on AWS.
Okay,
Because-
that's the free for one, right?
Correct. No, not the default, meaning not the, in AWS, two things actually. One is EKS, which is already a hosted solution. EKS is readily available, meaning Kubernetes is readily available in the AWS. We no need to do anything there. But if we use this, we don't get any knowledge or experience on the Kubernetes for sure, because already everything is given by him. Then what we will do? We just will do the deployment. That is not actually. So rather what I will do is, I will take the AWS machines. So one for the master setup and 3 for the worker setup. A total of 4 machines we will take, and then Kubernetes cluster we will set up, and then we will work with the Kubernetes cluster. The same YAML files, whatever we write here for the deployments, the same YAML files we will also use in our EKS. So meaning as the Kubernetes is same in any of the cloud, whatever the script files we were written will be work here, will be work in the hosted solution, will be work in Azure, anywhere those will work. Got my point, right?
Sir, after Linux, will you teach AWS?
No, actually, I will go with an order of, after Linux, I will start the DevOps. In my opinion, after Linux, starting AWS is false. It is not the right direction. That is my opinion. Why? Because, if you have the pipeline setup, can you guys please mute? If you ask your question done, please mute. So if you have your pipeline setup done, then this pipeline you have to set up in our AWS cloud. So if you have the applications pipeline, everything ready, then we can use the AWS services and then deploy there. So what I will do, first I will take this Linux. Once after completion of the Linux, I'll explain EC2, not in depth. Explain EC2, like how to subscribe to AWS, how to create the EC2 machines, how to connect to them. Till that level only I will explain EC2, but that is not fully in depth of it, because when we start AWS, we'll discuss about them. But this is for us to set up our pipeline, day-to-day pipeline. And later in time, when we start the AWS, we will discuss in depth about each and every service, and we will deploy our pipeline in the cloud, AWS cloud. That is the way how I will go. Got it? Huh?
Sir, what is the difference between continuous delivery and deployment?
That is, we will see in the next sessions. In single session, we have not complete all those things, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
your questions are valid. Continuous integration meaning when the developers are continuously writing the code and then pushing to the source code management tools, your continuous integration tool, the process of listening to the source code modifications and then build the source code continuously is called as the continuous integration. So that continuous integration will be set up using the continuous integration tools like Jenkins. And once after the build is done, that need to be deployed in the target servers continuously. That is the continuous deployment. But in depth of it, we will discuss coming up sessions. Right, so that's all for the demo 1 point of view. Thank you so much for attending the demo 1. And
Sir,
tomorrow,
Sir,
any-
one question, sir. Sir,
Yes.
all the tools which you are talking, they're same for Azure and AWS, right, sir?
anything, cloud might get changed. See, this cloud might get changed, but our DevOps concepts won't get changed. These are all the concepts, tools we will use, and then we will set up the pipelines either in the AWS, either in the Azure or any cloud. Cloud might vary, but these don't vary. These are common everywhere.
Okay. Sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow. And tomorrow, let us start.
Sorry to interrupt here. Well, like, what will be the prerequisite? Like, do we need a Linux system as well for this?
Correct. So prerequisite is nothing, but that is not correct. Linux is required. So if you don't know Linux as well, no problem. I will teach the Linux for first 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
however, Linux is the prerequisite. That's true.
So, like, do we need the Windows system? Like, we have Windows machine. It should be a Linux machine.
Correct. You let the Windows machine be as is. On Windows machine, let us install the tools. Linux connected server tools like mobile extern putty, something like that. Through that, we will connect to our Linux servers, and then in that Linux servers will work. Let your Windows as is. On top of Windows will work.
Okay. So that part you will be covering as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So real-time projects will cover in this course, right, sir?
Correct. Real-time project only, because it is whatever we do now. 6 projects I told, right? These 6 projects are complete real-time parity.
Okay.
Complete real-time parity. 6 projects.
Okay.
So we will do complete real-time. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, folks. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow. Let us start tomorrow the Linux concepts, because I don't want to discuss about the what is DevOps theory, blah blah. Theory you can find it out anywhere. I don't want to waste time. Let us start the Linux from tomorrow onwards, and then we will take how to connect to EC2 and how to get the connectivity and all we will discuss. So tomorrow I will start the Linux. Thank you so much. I'm stopping for today. Thank you.